10:33 back on the Sports Fix. You're listening to ESPN Radio and ESPNGo1.com. Adam Reardon, Chris Doering, Scott Brantley with you on this Thursday morning. We turn our attention to South Florida and the University of Miami Hurricane football program. We talk normally with Danny Money of CanesInSight.com. He's decided to take the day off. Believe me, I wish I could have taken the week off after that beatdown out there at Kansas State. In his place, Cameron Underwood joins us here on the Sports Fix. Cameron, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. How are you guys?
Man, doing quite well. There's not just one question I can ask you, so let me just put it, in these terms. Am I way wrong in looking at this football team and saying they have infinitely more questions than they certainly do answers at this point?
Oh, no, that's 100% correct. A lot of questions, and obviously questions pop up anytime that you lose, but especially when you lose in the way that we lost, just being out-physical by a Kansas State team that we already knew was going to run the ball coming into that game. Lots and lots of questions. Young players, obviously, on both sides of the ball, and I'm sure we're going to talk about some of these things later, but injuries, losing veteran players like Ramon Buchanan, who we could kind of count on his production. You don't know what's coming up behind him. So, a lot of questions going on right now down on campus.
I think the thing that was surprising to me, obviously we knew where the defense was for the Hurricanes based upon, their first game out and the shootout that it kind of turned out to against Boston College. So I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game. The thing that was shocking to me was the multiple steps back it looked like Miami took offensively. I thought, Jed Fish had things rolling down there and that Miami would be able to hang in there score-wise, but to get blanked as they did for as long in that game as they were, that was really surprising. What were your thoughts offensively about, their lack of production overall?
I thought that we were kind of schizophrenic. We didn't find one thing that we wanted to stay with, and that actually came from trying to do a couple things that didn't work. I love watching Duke Johnson play football. I live, obviously, in South Florida, watched him play in high school at Norland, and then the BC game. We can see what his potential is, even in the fourth quarter with that kick return. But maybe we leaned on him a little bit too much, trying to have him catch the ball. And that wasn't something that went very well, obviously, in the game. And not finding success with anything, I think we just were like, let's try this with no kind of system. And it seemed haphazard. And I think that's really where a lot of the problems came from.
Cameron, the youth and maybe a little banged-up defensive side of the ball, but somebody's got to stand out. Somebody's got to be that leader. Is there anybody there that kind of stood out at all? I know you can't stand out when you get that many points scored on you, but there's some young, talented guys on that team.
There are some young and talented guys. Obviously, we've already talked about Chicolo and the middle linebacker Perryman as being a couple of those guys. I really liked what I saw from Eddie Johnson, 44. I like what I saw from Deion Bush, another true freshman from Miami Columbus High School. I like what I saw from those guys, and we're just going to have to lean on them a little bit more to have their good plays be the consistent plays, not have those be the one standout after 5 bad plays. We need them all, including Chicolo and Perryman, who are returning guys. We have to have them play at a high level all the time.
Cameron Underwood with CanesInsight.com, our guest here on the Sports Fix. And Cameron, in the world of college football, when things don't go well, fans look to somebody to sort of put up there and take shots at. I think right now the guy that's probably taking more shots than anybody else is Coach D'Onofrio, the defensive coordinator. Is that rightfully so? I mean, is this more X's and O's than Jimmy's and Joe's, or is it a tad bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. I'd probably go like 70-30 X's and O's over Jimmy's and Joe's, because even though our guys, the players, might be young, like a Tracy Howard, like a Deion Bush, and Thomas Finney, only a sophomore from Central High School, we have players. We really do. And I know that they're learning the ropes, but I've seen some things on schematically that I just don't necessarily like, playing a lot of soft zone and getting killed with that. I don't know why we're dropping into 3-deep coverage on 3rd and 2 against K-State. Like, Colin Klein's not going to run a single wing kind of power play from the quarterback position, which they did all game long. I would like to see maybe something different, and we didn't see anything change during that game, and Kansas State just pounded it 4 and 5 yards to play, 4 and 5 yards to play, and
obviously, in this day and age, the feeling about coaches can change pretty quickly. And you mentioned, we talk about the defensive coordinator there, but it ultimately falls on the shoulders of the head coach. Al Golden, seemed to be a pretty popular guy down in South Florida during the offseason, felt like they had things going in the right direction. But with this lackluster start that Miami has had here for 2012, is there any second guessing to maybe Al Golden not being the guy that is right for that job at this point?
I think that there is some second guessing, but I don't think that that's warranted. I know that we lost. I watched the game. It was bad. It was bad. But at the end of the day, we're still 1-1. We're still 1-0 in the conference, and we have a chance to maybe get a win. Well, we should get a win this week and put that together and get that rolling. So at 1-1 with a bad loss and a close win, I think that any talk of him not being the guy is kind of premature. And we all, as Canes fans, know that we did not have the necessary ingredients to make a 5-star meal before. So now we're getting all those good recruits in, and it takes time for all these high school All-Americans, and there's plenty on the roster to get acclimated to college football. So I don't think that that's right, but obviously coming off a frustrating loss, there are going to be people who think that, yeah, maybe he's not the guy.
Then the Miami Dolphins turn around on Sunday and kind of emulate what happened on Saturday. I mean, I know
they want an NBA title, though. Miami can't have everything.
That's right.
Are the Panthers going to be good in hockey this year? What can we do down there?
I have some contacts who can give you some on that. I'm from Detroit, so I'm a Red Wings fan. So
good. The champs.
That's wrong.
Well, you're used to good hockey then. All right, so this weekend, Miami should get better as far as the scoreboard's going to be concerned at the end of the game, playing Bethune Cookman. At the end of the game, if you look up and Bethune scored 20 some odd points in this game, should there be real life concern for this football program moving forward through the rest of the season?
Well, first of all, it comes down to how they score those points. If there's a busted play or something, then we'll see. I actually saw a stat on the Magic Twitter machine yesterday. After we beat Bethune Cookman last year, they're 8-2. And there's only 2 schools at the FCS level FCS level that have less losses than them since they played us last year. So all that is to say they're a good team. They're a very good team at their level. So if they score 17, 20, 24 points, I don't necessarily see that as being a bad day. Like I said, I'm from Detroit. I'm a Michigan fan. I remember what Appalachian State did when they came in. That would be a bad day. So as long as we can stay away from something like that, I think that we're hopefully going to right some of these wrongs on both sides of the ball and continue a strong march through the season.
Cameron Underwood stepping in for our good friend Danny Money of CanesInsight.com. Cameron, great job, man. Really appreciate your time. And anytime Danny wants to take the week off, man, we're certainly glad to have you, my friend.
Hey, man, it was a pleasure. Thanks, you guys, and have a great rest of the day, man.
We certainly will. CanesInsight.com is the website. Cameron Underwood stepping in for Danny Money. Coming up next, we go north to Tallahassee, where they're giving up less than a safety a game. Granted, they haven't played anybody yet, but we'll talk.